All right. All right. Welcome to the party. We are live. We are live. It's 10 a.m. over here in Las Vegas. This is going to be a short one. Got a busy day today. I actually have to run to the doctor as soon as I'm out of here. Allergies are just so bad. I can't even breathe. This is why I brought up my tissues for today. I ran out of my nasal spray and had no refills on it and can't get in to see my primary till August. So I had to do a telemed with some doctor just to get that prescription. So forgive me. We're not going to go too long, but make sure you have any questions. That's what I'm here for. Looking at the screen because crypto has taken a dive, which is good. Market is just going up in one direction. You need that every once in a while, but we're not here to talk about crypto. We're here to talk about sports. And first off, bad 7 days. It's the bottom line. Since we lost that 5% big move. And the truth of the matter is, like our betting line, we placed a great bet. Now, the result didn't end out our way, but that's exactly what a 5% is supposed to do. Where we get down at, plus 150 and it goes off at plus 110. You do that over and over again, you're going to be profitable. Again, each individual game, individual fight, there's going to be a lot of randomness involved. But we can't control that. All we can control is, did we place a good bet? And will we get ahead of the market? Like this week's 5% play that I sent out last Sunday. I sent that out immediately the day after we lost our 5%. I wasn't chasing. It's just that bet warranted it. I was so certain that this line should be minus 200 and probably move even higher, that I had to make it a 5% play. And when you look at the betting line right now, let's see where she's at. Hebos is minus 205 at Bet Online. Again, like we can't place a better bet than that, or we get down at minus 145, minus 150, even minus 155. And it's now minus 205. Now, is Hebos going to go out there and win this fight? Hopefully she does. That she does her job like we did ours. But we can't control that part. Now, because we're able to get ahead of the market, that puts us in a very advantageous position. Because right now, you could more or less bet Ricci at plus 175 for, 3 units, and you have a nice scalp. Again, that's not the goal of what I'm doing with WagerTalk and with the subscription. Our goal is to maximize ROI, and it's not to set up scalps and middles. That's a whole other business that if you want to allocate, capital towards working middles and scalps and just chasing plus EV positions like that, I highly recommend doing it if you have the time. But that's not what this subscription is about. So we're not going to come back and hedge or try to scalp by betting the Ricci side. But that just shows you what betting from a position of strength means. Because now we have options. Had we gone the other way and had we taken Ricci, let's say, at plus 140, now what do? You could have got plus 175 today. So let's say Ricci goes out there and wins. Would that have been a good bet? If I have a plus 140 in my pocket, even plus 150 in my pocket, but it closes 175, that's where, as a profitable sports bettor, you need to be focusing on more than just the short-term results. Again, short-term gratification is what costs us all with everything. And again, tell you when I win, tell you when I lose. And all year we've been at that break even, up 20 units, down 20 units, up 5 units, down 5 units. It's just going back and forth. We haven't had that breakout yet. And these last 7 days is what we're down. That's it. With that said, I'm very confident because of the accounts we have access to that it's just a matter of time and making sure I stay consistent with my own bet sizing to get past bad days for that edge to materialize into profit. And as you see, We've already got a lot of futures in there in NFL and college football. We have a lot of baseball futures still in there that haven't been decided. Like, we have a lot of action that could really improve our ROI. Again, while looking at day by day. But that's why I love those futures. And historically, the results have been obviously profitable enough that it's worth it for me to tie up that money. Because a couple of you guys had reached out to me and asked, like, how much of my bankroll should I allocate towards those futures? And if you're bet sizing the way I urge, which is 0.25 of the rating, so that we're never betting more than 1.25% of our bankroll, then even if it was 20 futures at 1% each, that's 20% of your bankroll tied up. That's it. You got the other 80 to work with. Again, we're not at 20 per 20 futures yet, but that's just an example as for myself why I'm willing to do it. Now, if you're going to, bet them for 4 or 5% each, obviously you'd be tying up 50, 60% of your bankroll. That doesn't make sense. That I don't see that happening. You're welcome, Justin. You're welcome, bro. Again, I'm here. I work for you. For those guys that have committed to partnering up for this 2025, that's why I'm here for you. And again, I hate coming in. I don't look forward to the SteamRoom off a week like our last 7 days, but that's exactly what this is for, so that I am accountable to you. And it's not just, okay, you bought it, good luck with it. Again, I'm here to guide us through times like those last 7 days so that we are able to profit long-term. Because my goal is when December 31st rolls around, for us to be in that 0.5%. I'm extremely confident that's going to happen. Again, we have a lot of futures that still haven't been decided. We have the rest of the baseball season. We have NFL and college football coming up. NBA will be here this year. College basketball we'll get to before the end of the year, and all those smaller markets. So we have a lot of action. And luckily, we move for groups that are betting into a lot of those smaller markets too, which is why we're lucky to get some tennis, some golf, some of those smaller market sports. Now, let me take a look real quickly. Any questions? Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, brother. Thank you. All right. City, when we've bet boxing, we've definitely fired some boxing throughout the year. It's just with boxing, you nailed it. It's a much smaller market. And a lot of times the lines just move so quickly and so significantly. Unlike MMA, there isn't the parity there. Like, so you have a lot of fights that are mismatches, not just on paper, but in real, in reality. And unlike MMA, a lot of times in boxing, what do you see? You see guys get protected until they have 25, 30 fights. That's the only way they're ever going to get shot at a title, by being, 27-1. You can't be 27-10 and get a shot at a title, unlike in MMA. And because of that, most of the right sides on those kind of fights obviously are the favorites. The problem is the lines move so quickly and the margin for error is so slim. When you're having to lay 14, 1,500 to win 100, like a lot of those mismatches are, the room for error is very, very slim. So that's why we're very selective with the boxing. Again, they're mostly, I don't think we're on too many dogs. Obviously, in the more high-profile, challenging matchups, we have. But on most of the mismatches, we're not taking the plus 800s on those. The most I will ever bet of bankroll now, probably 2.5%. 2.5% is the most, where I double up my 5% play. I've done that maybe once, twice a year. The most I've ever done is probably 3 or 4 times in a year. I'm usually doing, I don't ever give the green light, let anyone know when I'm doing it, because I don't want anyone over betting their edge. But there are those times where I feel that it's even greater than my 5%. You know, like I'll get that that nugget of information that's not factored into the betting line that I think gives me such a greater advantage. I have to bet more. And in those cases, I have done it. I keep it real with you guys, bro. Again, it's not the right thing to do. It really isn't. I do think it's worked out for me long-term, but I don't think it's the right thing to do. You have to set money management rules and you have to stick to them. I've fortunately done this long enough and am properly funded enough to where if I lose my bankroll, I could push another one in and just continue doing what I'm doing. But that was after years of having to figure out and building the discipline to do it the right way, to be in that position. Because prior to that, I was losing bankroll after bankroll doing it like that by not having those strict rules. Like I was losing bankrolls with great information. And the reason was simple. The cold streaks wiped me out. And because once you go down that road of betting a little bit more than your rule allows, now that door's open again. What happens if you lose? Now it's like, now I got to hit 2 5% to get that back. You may fire 5% that's not warranted when that happens. Like, you don't ever want to put yourself in a position where you could continue making that same mistake. Remember, correct, don't repeat. Correct, don't repeat. Correct, don't repeat. I'll say that over and over and over again. And to me, that at least that's been the detriment in my life. Any bad has been because I didn't correct behavior and I repeated it. Most of us are smart enough to know when we're making mistakes. Most of us are sharp enough. So even in the sports betting industry, most of you guys are sharp enough to know when you're doing the right thing. Come on, you're not in this by accident. You're not a subscriber of mine because you don't know what's going on. Like if you're subscribed to me and you know enough to know when you're doing the wrong thing. You know about money management. You know about bet sizing. You know how to judge your bet, even if it loses, comparing it to what the closing line is. Like, you know enough. And I just think that's why a SteamRoom like this is important, to remind us that those temptations are going to be there nonstop. Like, we're all going to have to face them over and over and over and over again. It happens to me. I love a play. And throughout the day, I like it even more and more and more and more. But I already max bet it. So now what do? If more information comes in that confirms that bet, I have to fight myself from betting more. Like, that's something you're going to have to deal with. Not when you're just running cold. That's when you're running hot, especially. That's when a lot of bettors shove. They start shoving. And then they lose 1 or 2 of those big bets. And it's like, wait, I can't go back to doing it right now. I got to recover that. So that's why that door has to be sealed. You have to seal that door. And you shouldn't bet more than that 1%, 1.25. I personally think that the majority of you guys should simply be flat betting 1% or flat betting everything for 0.5% and then betting 1% on the 5%. Like you should be betting 0.5% on the 3 and 4s and then 1% on the 5s, or go 1% all across the board and then 1.25 on the 5s. But consistency, steady, I think is the way to go. And to keep that door shut so that you can't make those mistakes. Again, man, we have such good, the accounts that I have now, that we're not up 50, 60, 70 units right now is what's most surprising to me. And that's what I have to get right over these next 5 months. Because I haven't had this type of information in my fingertips in a long time. I'm just keeping it real. We had a good run from 2015 to 2024 where we won, 8 of those 10 years, 8 of those 10. And over the first 5 to 7, that's when I was all in. I was all in. More accounts than I ever had prior, more groups I was working with, and the results showed. I got content a little bit. I keep it real. I'll tell you how it is. Once you get a little comfortable, it's kind of like Evander Holyfield said. It's tough to wake up at 5 a.m. and go run miles when you're sleeping in silk sheets, he said. When he was broke and coming up as a fighter, it was easy to set your alarm at 4 a.m. and go jogging all those miles. He said, but once I was a world champion, it was hard. It happened to me. I had put enough bankrolls, I had doubled my bankroll up enough that I had financial security. I now could invest in crypto and gold and stock market. I could invest in some art and some other things. I have a backup bankroll if this goes down. You start taking that for granted. Yeah, I don't chase those accounts. Okay, that group's looking for someone to move for them. I'm moving for enough guys already. This is me talking straight with you guys. And I paid for it. I paid for it by losing my bankroll last year. That was the second losing year in 10. I'm doing everything I can to make sure this is a profitable year. And the fact that we're not up 50, 60, 70 units right now really has motivated me to get this right. Trust me when I tell you, just because the information's there. I talk into you guys like I talk to my partners every single day because we're partners in this. If you're here today, then you've put in your confidence in me, your trust in me, and now it's my job to deliver. And that's what the SteamRoom's for. So I could come in here and be accountable. And right now, I haven't produced. These last 7 days, I let it cost us. And again, that's something that I have to work through. That was that bad week. And to make sure that I don't let those temptations, like with my own stuff, make me bet more than I would have or more plays than I would have. Again, luckily, I have enough experience and remind myself of this every single day. Well said, Robert. Well said. All right. The Straz, welcome, brother. Welcome. Let's go real quickly. Let's go over to baseball because I'm going to give you the other stuff we're looking at. So far, we have Detroit, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh. 2 4% Detroit, Minnesota, and a 3% on Pittsburgh. Here's the other stuff that I bet, some sharp stuff. Still trying to confirm for you guys, okay? Texas, okay? Looking at Texas. Looking at San Francisco. Looking at the under in Washington, Minnesota. Under White Sox, Cubs. And then, as I told you guys, if you saw WagerTalk today, Boston over in the Phillies, under in Cleveland. Those are sharp as well. But I didn't have a strong opinion on those, which is why we didn't use them. But the Texas and Seattle side, trying to get some confirmation because I saw that in multiple accounts. Now, I sent out the second college football bet today on Hawaii. You also should have got yesterday the Kansas State -3. 3 is a key number. Public's going to be opposite us, but I know Kansas State's the sharp side, so I didn't want to risk 3.5 or 4, as opposed to waiting to see if we could get it to 2.5. I would have rather pay a little juice to do that. We also have the added more NFL. Will they make the playoffs? Not make the playoffs? And more season win totals are going to start coming in as well. You should have 5 college football season win totals, and then 4 NFL futures as well. I think it's 2 season win totals, 2 playoff props. The football is going to start coming in over the next few weeks, especially once preseason starts. And my advice is, don't get yourself in a position where you're like, oh, I can't bet these, meaning I tied up too much of my money already. That's why I said go small, because I'm not sure how many we'll have. And I love that you guys, I hope for you guys are handicapping these plays. So if you disagree, don't bet it. Like I did with one of the sharp sides today was under Kansas City, Cleveland. I don't love that side. I moved it for them, but I'm not betting it, and I'm not giving it out to subscribers. I hope that you guys do the same thing. So if I send out a season win total and you like the other side, then obviously you need to decide whether you're just going to pass or go with yourself. If I send something that you disagree on, you shouldn't be betting it. So again, if you're not handicapping your own stuff, it's a different story. But if you're handicapping your own stuff, then you should have your own opinion. And when you disagree, you shouldn't just blindly follow, So with that said, with these season win totals and futures, like if you were just betting 1% even of your bankroll, you shouldn't have even, you should have 10% of your, would juice 10% of your bankroll tied up? Even if you got 10, 15%. If we got 20% in futures, we're good. Still have the rest to work with. And as you see, we're not going 20 position volume anymore. Even a heavy day like Saturdays where there's multiple markets, we've lowered the volume enough that I think these futures are worth tying up. But again, you don't want to leave yourself in that position where 3 more come in 3 weeks from now and you're like, I allocated it all up. What do I do? But if you're bet sizing correctly, that's not a problem. Just every bet, boom, 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 boom. So again, Neil, great question. And I know a lot of sharp guys that think exactly like that, where they're not comfortable betting chalk at all. A very close friend of mine that is one of the sharpest guys I know. He's like, bro, I'm not anything over 200. I just don't want to do it. I just don't like doing it. He's like, I just pass on those, which is fine. Again, the room for error is slim when you're laying that kind of chalk. So I especially if you don't have the years in and don't have the profit of years of profit built up, there's nothing wrong with passing on those, because you lay a -400, even for 1% of your bankroll, that loses. That takes a chunk. Those are, end up costing. So if you're not comfortable laying that, don't do it. Seriously, there's nothing wrong with that at all, Neil. In fact, I think that's a sign of strength, of having that discipline. Like, bro, I'm not laying that heavy chalk. I'm going to, again, you get to choose where you're going to allocate your money. It's a beautiful thing. You don't have to follow every bet. You don't have to take a bad line. You could wait and choose. As a subscriber, you have that power. Today's board, I gave out 3 baseball plays. You could look at them and be like, you know what? I just don't agree with them strong enough to back them with my own cash. So I'm going to wait for one that I absolutely, absolutely love. You don't have to bet 10 games a day like I do. 6 games, 4 games. You got to do what you feel most comfortable with. And more importantly is what's produced the best results for you. Because again, if it's hurting you mentally and straining you and it's stressful, the results are going to reflect that. But if it's calm and you have a plan, a blueprint, and you're sticking to that blueprint and it's just automatic, the stress is eliminated. Then it's just, okay, I'll wait for the results and deal with the results. Put yourself in that position. You're not wasting money by not betting everything. In fact, you'll be saving money a lot of times. Be selective. You're in charge of your money. I'm giving out everything I'm betting. I have 30 years in this industry. I have 10 plus, now 15, where I've actually been a profitable sports bettor. So I have years and years and years of ROI behind me. So again, like I don't want to lose any particular year. I hated having a losing year last year, but it wasn't like so detrimental. It didn't change. It didn't hurt the business. It was just like a stock. Go through any stock and you're going to look through the years and you're going to see there are some bad years and months. I mean, I'm pulling up Tesla. Tesla, November of 2021 was $420. 12 months later, it was $100. So it went from $400 down to $100 over a 12, 14-month period. Now, we know Tesla's a winning company. Overall, zoom out and you see a price that's gone up in trajectory. But in between, that's going to happen. Like, if you're going to actually do this for the next 3, 5, 10 years, then please learn to have that approach and truly look at it that way, that this is an investment vehicle. I know it's going to take 3, 5 years of some ups, some downs, like any major business, any small business. You're usually not looking to be profitable until about year 5, if you're lucky, maybe year 4. And though once you get there, then it becomes easy. But you got to get through that first. And that's what, again, a group of you guys have been doing. And I love it. You know, I've met so many that have, but it just takes some time. It just takes some time. I love you, Justin, bro. God bless you, bro. God bless you. I've learned so much from you guys. Seriously, you've made me a better sports bettor. You've made me more responsible, more accountable. Look. Let me see, Cam, what you're saying, because that's the game we talked about. That's funny you said that. Yeah, that's why you're seeing some 8.5s out there. At least it's getting some 8 from that opener of 8. You're seeing more 8.5s. That one scares me. I talked about it on WagerTalk today because I saw nothing but over money from bettors that don't even always bet baseball. But for some reason, that game jumped off at them, and I thought, is it the recency bias of the pitching? Like, have they allowed 4 or 5 earned runs in their last couple starts each? Because they were betting that over like they already knew the final score. And what stuck out to me a little bit is it looks like an over game. We know 9's a key number, so why aren't you at 9? Why at 8? You're getting over money at 8. You're getting over money at 8.5. Why not go to 9? But it opens you up for a bad spot where you could push and lose as a bookmaker. The only thing worse is getting middled as a bookmaker. So they may be stuck. They may be stuck, and that's why they're not moving it. But to me, it's such a one-sided public bet total that just really didn't make all that much sense to me. Like, why this game out of all of them? It'll be interesting to see that result. Yeah, please do. Please do, Nathan. Please do when you're here, my brother. Please. I definitely look forward to that. Now, so I don't go off track. Here's where we're at, okay? We're doing baseball every single day. We have our second half season win totals. We have our first half season win, our full season that we put in before the season started. We'll see how those do once September rolls around. We'll revisit them, see where we stand and what we need. We have the football futures and week 1 bets between now and week 1. They will keep coming in. Okay. In the meantime, we have MMA each week, each Saturday, and the smaller MMA cards as well. And again, like I said, all the other smaller markets that we're messing with. So let's look over that MMA card real fast. Okay. Now, we have a 5%, and the lines moved our way. I talked about that. We got very, very, very not lucky. It was great pulling the trigger early. Now, I did give an LFA 4% out that I absolutely loved in the main event. Gave it out at minus 135. Yesterday it was minus 175. Great bet. It got canceled, unfortunately. I just saw that. It's been canceled, the fight. But here's where we're at. I gave out Whitaker yesterday. I like that side. You know that. Market tells me everything I need to know. There's a lot of recency bias. Whitaker loses to Chimaev. The Ritter beats Bo Nickel. Perfect storm to get line value on Whitaker. That's happened. Look at the X's and O's. 80+% takedown defense. I know why sharp guys I respect are on Whitaker as well. Jan and Marcus McGee. McGee looked to me like he had some value, but yet the line moved in favor of Jan. When I spoke to guys that are big X's and O's guys, they all said the reason is this looks like an easy fight for Jan on paper. Stylistically. That's the reason I'm not on McGee yet. I gave him out actually for a tiny bet on my podcast yesterday for the UFC on Fight Pass. But I'm not sure it'll make it on the card. Sharp Bullet, he should bounce back with a win, but it's very chalky. I like Nikita Krylov. Another line that I think should be well over 200, minus 200. But a lot of recency bias there. He came back in his return fight, got knocked out in the very first round, the Reyes. And because of that, we're getting a great number on a much more experienced fighter, much tougher strength of schedule. So he's much more proven, more well-rounded. As long as he could avoid the power and he uses grappling, Krylov should be fine. Hebas, again, I thought stylistically she would have an edge on Ricci. And I thought this line also reeked of recency bias on the Rebus side. That proved correct. That's why she's now minus 205 at Bet Online. We got a great number on her. Again, hopefully she goes out and does her job. Ibo Aslan, you got already. You know that. I thought Aslan should be a minus 300 favorite. He's creeping that way. We laid 250. He's 280 now. I like seeing that. Ochoa on Balayev. I like Ochoa. I think he's live. I think he's a coin flip fight. I was hoping he'd be at plus money. I think at plus money, I'd already fired. Davey Grant, Damon Blackshear. On paper, Blackshear's got all the advantages as far as the trends go. Younger, the stance, the reach, all that stuff. And he got steamed up to minus 360. At that price, though, I'm seeing sharp money on Davey Grant. Some guys I respect, like the Davey Grant side at plus, 300, at 3-1. Again, he's got to win that fight once out of 4 times for it to break even. Kind of makes sense to me. Carlos Leon and Salikov. Tough to fade Salikov because he's one of those guys that don't get any respect from the market, but he's been winning. And now you're getting him at plus 350? Listen, Leo's an animal. He just comes forward and throws. I love watching that guy fight. But that price is just way too high. Steven Yen, I'm a fan. I can't lay the chalk. He wins that fight, though. He gets through Yaya. And finally, this one, I just got to see how good is Marcus Buchecha. Because when you look at Boudet, you're even surprised he's a dog. Like, Boudet's, 5-1 in the UFC? He's gotten it done as a dog in the past. Buchecha hasn't had a UFC fight yet, not even Contender Series. He's got 5 pro MMA fights. All wins are in the first round. His loss was by decision. He's a BJJ ace. If you see his history, he's won every competition you can imagine. World champion BJJ. But we've seen those guys in MMA sometimes that are one-dimensional have some problems. Because of the line movement and the fact he doesn't have any experience in the UFC, tells me sharp bettors think this is an easy fight for him. And obviously it's one the UFC wants, is leaning his way. He's a big star from what it seems, especially in the BJJ world. So the line and everything's telling me Buchecha, but I'm just afraid, bro. I'm afraid to fade Boudet. He's gotten it done. And thanks, MMA. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, James asked if we could talk about it to cover that. And I figured, why not? Why not? Everybody I spoke to in the betting world has already commented to me about it and let me know what they think. After doing a little bit of research, I figured this is only going to touch it. It's only going to hurt those bettors that are on screen. That's it. That's it. And I know there's a lot on screen, so I get it. It's going to hurt people. Oh, wow. We opened this up. I didn't even know we had opened it up. I didn't even know we were opening it up. All right. So again, I sort of had to cut this one short today because again, I got that. I got to go. I got to be feeling good for this weekend because we have a lot of opportunities to take advantage of. Let's see what else we got. I'm going to look through the accounts one more time. Any questions? Shoot them now. If you have any matchup you want me to go over, any fight, any baseball game, let me know now. I'm here for you. Otherwise, I'll check the account, see if anything's in there. Let's do some damage tonight. More importantly, throughout this weekend. Let's flip that script on that last week because this is the last 7 days. It's what's cost us. And move forward, man. Marlins. Let me see, Florida. Let me see for my man. Ooh, big dog, Miami. Big dog, huh? Okay, Milwaukee's returning home. Oh, after a long trip. Oh, and you got a pitcher from Milwaukee that's thrown 100 pitches in 2 of his last 4? 90 plus in 5 straight games? Oh, what's that total? Give me Miami. Miami and under. I like Miami on the run line. Plus 1.5. I see minus 110. With a total of 8. I got to take Miami plus 1.5. Low total, low scoring game expected. 2 solid pitchers. Yeah, give me the 1.5. Give me the 1.5 on Miami. Nice low total. Come on, give me something that I could give these guys. Nothing. Right before first pitch yesterday, they threw in the Athletics to win that series at plus 200. They won game 1. Hoping they lose, that we could use that information somehow with the Athletics. Yeah, nothing else is coming through. Big day tomorrow. Don't forget, early at UFC card. So expect more UFC plays in there. Big day in baseball tomorrow. There's one series I'm looking at. I haven't released a 5% on a baseball matchup this entire year. Only one total I gave. That was it. And we pushed. I'm almost positive. There's one series I'm looking at. Based on today's result, we may have a 5% in baseball, the first 5% on a side this weekend. So keep your eyes out open for that. Otherwise, the accounts that I'm looking at are the ones that I provide, Cam, for different groups. A couple of you guys have partnered up with me already. You guys provided accounts for me. You get a percentage of those accounts. You can DM me looking for new accounts to work with. Again, they got to be credit accounts that aren't on screen. We take the login and password and fire into it. You get access to see what we're betting. A lot of the stuff you'll notice that you guys already partner up with me. I can't even use with subscribers because sometimes it's time sensitive, minutes before game time. And more importantly, they're always getting the best number in those accounts. So you'll always get the best number and you'll get to see what we're betting. So again, you know how to reach out for that. Otherwise, hold on. All right. Yep. Seattle over in Seattle against LAA. Well, I like that. I like over Seattle. Let me dig a little deeper. I think you got a good bet there. Leonard, I like your over in Seattle, bro. We got a nice low scoring game yesterday at 9. So now we're looking at 8.5 instead of 9. See that pitching matchup. Wu and Siriano. Oh, I like it, brother. I think you're on the right side there. Seattle, LA over. Seattle out at LA. Seattle at LA. Seattle at LA, right? Yeah. I like over 8.5. Over 8.5 or pass. Over 8.5 or pass for me. Attaboy. That's how you should feel, Young. That's it. Padres. Let's look at the Padres. San Diego. Ooh, against St. Louis. St. Louis got steamed. Sharp money on St. Louis. So there's definitely sharp bettors against you there. And one of those reasons is this. One of the trends that I've seen, I don't know why, I'm talking for a long, long time. Betting syndicates that bet baseball, I've seen this one trend a lot. When a road team has lost 3 straight games and they're favored, I'd say 8 out of 10 times they bet the dog. So if you see the road team having lost 3 straight, they'll almost always take the dog, home dog, in that spot. That's where Miami sits now. That's why I actually wrote on one of my trends, see, St. Louis is a trend. St. Louis is a trend there. Now, the other thing that I've noticed too with the 3 wins is when a home team wins 3 in a row and they're a winning home team, you know, not like a team that's above 50%, they ride those teams. When they see the home team has won 3 straight, they're still at home, and they're a winning team for the year, they usually, I've seen them ride that team and look at that team in that series. So again, not saying it's always, but I see that all the time. 3 straight losses on the road, they'll back that home team 8 out of 10 times. 3 straight wins at home from a winning team, 8 out of 10 times. They'll bet that team to win that 4th game. So just keep that in mind. No, Johnny, great question. Because I've been asked this before. My pleasure, Bird. Johnny asks, are there sports books that pay cappers to be on their side and give false information? Known casinos and sports books will do anything to win. Yes, they will. They will do anything to gain the advantage and be profitable. But that's something they don't need to do. Number one, none of us cappers have the influence, okay, to make it worth it to the book, because we can't guarantee they're going to bet it through them. I don't know who my subscribers are betting with. Like, how would that help any one particular book? So we know they don't work together. They're all in competition with each other. So who would it benefit? Like, would it be DraftKings will reach out to me and say, hey, can you give Team A out because we really believe Team B is going to win, so we want everyone to bet Team A and lose? Even if that were true, how would they know with confidence that the people I'm speaking to are going to bet it at DraftKings? Like, how would that benefit them? So again, in the conspiracy world, I get it. And it's a dirty industry as far as gambling goes. So I understand it. Anything can happen, but just think of it reasonably. Who would it benefit? And like, how would it be accomplished? What would be like, how would you get it done? That, and rest assured, who wouldn't speak on it? You know what I mean? Like, what capper is going to keep that a secret? They would have to be paying you so much to never say, you know what? Sportsbook blah, blah, blah paid me to give you guys the wrong side. Here, I have the emails or the tape to prove it. You know what I mean? Like, just think reasonably. And they have a built-in edge. Every game on the casino floor is already set up to give the house an edge. All they have to do is open their doors. It's like if me and you are flipping a coin, and every time it's heads, I get $1.10. Every time it's tails, I give you $1. Why do I have to fix the coin? I just have to flip it a lot. As long as I keep flipping it, I'm going to end up with the money because I'm getting 110 to your dollar on a 50-50 proposition. You can't beat me. You could beat me in the short term, but as long as I keep flipping that coin, you're done. The casino, as long as they keep their door open with their built-in edge, they have nothing to worry about. Guy's going to beat him at blackjack. Guy's going to beat him here, get lucky, defy probability at roulette, hit a number. But overall, their built-in edge assures a profit. Sports bet's the same way. But here's the kicker. In blackjack, okay, the casino expects even one of the worst blackjack games, not the fair blackjack games. Let's say the worst blackjack games out there. The casino is only expected to make what? 50 cents on every 100? That's it. Maybe $1 on every 100 if it's really unfair. Okay? In sports betting, they expect to make $4.50 out of every 100 without even any bias, without even shading the line. That's just because we have to lay 11 to win 10. They already know they're going to make $4.50 out of every 100, opposed to 50 cents out of every 100 in blackjack. So they're making 8 to 10 times more is their hold in sports than blackjack. Why would they ever need for anyone to help bettors get on the wrong side? Like, no one knows the right side at the end of the day. We don't know the outcome yet. So again, I love the question, bro. Thank you for bringing that up because I get asked a lot. I get that asked a lot. But just think reasonably. Why would they need to do that? For what? For what? That one game? There's 30 games on the board. How many people am I going to influence to move that way and bet that way? So again, I understand why some people think that would make sense and why, a casino doing that, but it just doesn't why would they need to do it? Why would they have, you know what I mean? Like, so hope that makes sense. Yeah, I see Yeah, I see guys all the time talk about, oh, you know, the Vegas, the games are rigged, the games are rigged, the games are rigged. Why do you have to rig it? We already know that the rules are set up for them to win. It's not rigged. That's just the rules that we're playing under. Here's how it's rigged. I walk up to the roulette wheel. There's 36 numbers. There's 0. There's double 0. So now there's 38 places on the roulette wheel. 38. If I hit one of those numbers, I get paid 35-1. Not 38-1, even though that's what the real odds are 38-1. I'm getting 35-1. That's where it's rigged. If I was getting 40-1, then they're amazing bets. It's rigged in my favor. But at 35-1, it's set up in their favor. They don't have to rig the game. It's already set up for them to guarantee profit long term because they only have to pay out 35-1 when the true odds are 38-1. The true odds on a 3-team parlay are what, 7-1 at -110? The odds of you hitting a 3-team parlay at -110, so with point spreads on an NFL Sunday, is what, 7-1? And what do they give you? 6-1? That's where it's rigged. The true odds on a 14 parlay are what? 12-1, 13-1? And what do they give you? 10-1? That's where it's rigged. It's built in for them to win. They don't have to rig it. You don't have to have any switches or levers or buttons or cheating. The game is already set up with the rules for them to win. Because nobody can defy probability forever. And when you win at a game with a built-in edge, you're defying probability. You can't do that forever unless you flip the tables on them and you have the edge. And in many of the games that are available to us, that's just mathematically impossible. That's where it's rigged. That's where it's rigged. I'd bury it, Cam. I'll bury it. That's what I'd do. Just keeping it real. Well, I'm going to beat it. I'm going to beat it. And I could guarantee that pretty much over time. We don't lose in these accounts. We just don't. That's not me like fronting or talking shit. Anyone that's partnered with me, they could say it, speak up. They're probably not on here, but they don't lose. Like I don't, where I'm at now, thank God, I don't use those accounts to hedge or middle or manipulate or set shit up. I use them for real moves. So they're getting the best stuff in those accounts. And over time, they will be profitable. They're getting the stuff that's like a team total on a WNBA game. They're getting a WNBA prop. They're getting a team total in soccer in Peru. They're getting like shit like that I can't even, it's not even in the WagerTalk system. Like I can't even use a lot of the stuff. They're betting stuff like that is what you're going to see in your account. If you're okay with it. Otherwise, you would have to tell me, listen, this guy, if he sees any props, he's going to shut it down. So I only sides in totals, or you only can bet major sports. You can't be betting Peruvian soccer. That's a different story. But if you give me an account and you say it's open season, bury it, we're going to bury it. That's what's going to happen. Great job, Bird. Great job, Bird. That's the move. I hope that's where it goes. I hope that's where it goes, to exchanges. That's where we more or less eliminate the middleman. We eliminate the house with exchanges. Yeah, I'm all for exchanges. I think that's the future. I think all the lobbyists and casinos and sports books are all trying to shut them out of the industry. But for astute bettors, that's exactly where they're going, to the exchanges. They're not laying the 112 odds to win 100, 113s and 115s. No, they're going to exchanges. Great job, brother. Gianni, great point. He said, I know someone, again, you don't have to share the details. That's a different story. Yes, sporting events have been fixed. 100%. just like people have cheated the casino. That happens. There's groups and individuals that have cheated the casinos, and there are individuals and groups that have fixed the outcome of sporting events. That's a different story. That usually comes out later because it's really hard to keep a secret. You know, we're human beings. Once the second person knows the story, it's hard to keep it a secret. So that does happen. That does happen. And a lot of times it's actually the sports books are the ones that trigger the investigation because they're the ones that see the abnormal betting patterns, abnormal line movements. So to them, they see a red flag. Okay, what's going on? And that's how they caught the Arizona State fixing, the Boston College. There's been so many times things have been fixed. And I think now with sports betting being front and center, being accepted everywhere, being legalized almost everywhere, I think we have even more of it going on. I'm sure there's players that aren't making millions and millions and millions of dollars that are taking advantage of the prop betting market and sides and totals. I'm sure there are. I'm sure they are. And I'm sure there's betting syndicates in on a lot of this. Again, read Game in the Game, and it'll explain everything you need to know about that stuff going on. And also another book, a really good book that I was actually in. If you look at larceny games, there's a book called Larceny Games. If you look at the index and look up Vegas Runner, you'll see a lot of quotes from me in that book. It's actually a book about game fixing and different examples of matches and games that were fixed. Really good book. If you ever have some time, check that out. I haven't messed with Prime's Picks, Roger. I haven't messed with it. Is that something I should get involved in? I see it everywhere, kind of like I see Stake, but I just haven't gotten involved in either of those. Like I said, I do 95% of my stuff off screen with credit shops. So I haven't really seen those. Oh, wow, it's 11. I really do got to go. So we don't cancel it. So we're good to go. We're good to go. You know how we bet. You know how we bet. We never bet more than 1.25% of our bankroll. In fact, 95% of our bets are 1% of bankroll and less. That's how we overcome short-term variance. That's how we overcome those negative runs. That's why I've been profitable 8 of 10 years documented. 8 of 10 documented. And hopefully we're going to make it 9 of 11. If you're partnered with me, December 31st is when we grade, brother. Between now and then, bet size correctly, brush those demons off the shoulder, meet in here every week so we remind each other and go through the blueprint. And let's do some freaking damage, guys. Love you. Best of luck today. Have a great weekend. God bless you and yours.